Well, hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today we're going to be talking about a battery jump pack, air compressor, all that jazz. It's made by a company called JF.EGWO. I have one of the smaller ones I've done a review on. I'll drop a card up here somewhere so you can look at the review of the smaller one. This one's going to run a lot in alignment with that one, just with some more heavier duty specs. One of the things that has been a problem with me is that, I ride motorcycles a lot, and so I don't really need the big heavy duty one. So when this company was like, hey, they reached out to me, they go, hey, would you like to try one out? I said, yeah, but don't send me the big one. I have no need for it. I was using some different jump packs for my cars, and so I was like, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna trust a small air compressor like that for flat tires. I've got some other alternatives that I normally keep in my truck. But I got the small one and it worked so well with the motorcycles. I reached out to him and said, hey, could you send me one of the bigger ones? I'd really like to try it out with my truck and with the van. Vic's van is getting long in the tooth. Also, my daughters, they have cars, and wave to my neighbor there. All right. It was one of those things. I wanted to see if the bigger one might be a better match for the truck. So let me tell you what I've done with it, and then we'll go inside in the office. We'll talk about all the specifications and all that sort of stuff. So let's talk a little bit about what I've accomplished with this thing first. Now this is another neighbor. This is my 2022 Ram 1500, typical truck tire. It has been able to handle this. I actually have had this thing about 10 pounds under, had a little issue, but anyway, won't go into all that. However, it inflated the tire easily, no problem. A big truck tire. Is it fast? No. But did it do it? Yes, it did. Did it overheat? It did not. Now, the little compressors do build up heat, and they will shut down, but it did not shut down. And so I trust it to put air in a car tire. And that's saying a lot. Now, the Spyder has bigger tires on it, but the smaller one, whenever I needed to just, add, 4 or 5 pounds to the tire or whatever, neighbors all the way there, we got a great neighborhood. Whenever I just want to add, a few pounds of pressure to the tire, the small one has always met my need. Now, Coach Vic and I, when we traveled, we carried a DeWalt compressor that is way more expensive than this. I'll show you a picture of it. I'll drop it up there with maybe a price of what we carry when we traveled. And then we carry a separate jump pack, and that's how we've always done it. Is this an alternative for you? It is an alternative for you. Is it what I'm going to do? I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm a creature of habit and utilitarian nature and redundancy. I'm thinking, honestly, as silly as this will sound, I'm probably going to carry the smaller one of these and the DeWalt and the other battery pack. That way I have a backup for my backup. That may sound paranoid to you guys, but we have the room in the trailer, and there's just no need when I have someone in a wheelchair to ever risk not having a problem. And honestly, Coach Vic likes these little things to put air in her wheelchair tires as well. But it definitely doesn't have a problem with Coach Vic's van tires. And of course, like I said, the Spyder, it doesn't have a problem with the Spyder tires or jumping the Spyder. Have I been able to jump a pickup truck with the pack yet? I'm just going to be quite honest with you. I haven't been able to do that. Now, I did have someone suggest, and by the way, this was a great suggestion, we'll just disconnect your battery and jump it with the pack. And I'm like, man, with all the computer stuff on the truck, I just don't want to mess with something. If I don't have to, if the battery was dead or if I had a problem, I would use it. But I'm not one to just, I wouldn't just grab jumper cables and jump it that way either. I know that that's probably silly to a lot of you folks, but I don't really like to borrow trouble. I have jumped off Coach Vic's van. I've jumped off some small cars, Toyota Camrys and that sort of stuff. It didn't budge. I mean, it wasn't even a problem. It didn't flick an eye. So it will certainly jump off vehicles. I'm going to carry this in my truck is where this one's going to go. It's going to stay in my truck all the time. We'll get into all the specs and all that jazz, but that's the That's the skinny on it, but we'll talk about the model number, the amps, and all that stuff. I'm not a big electrical guy. My son is that guy, but I'll share you what I got, and I think you're going to find it engaging. It might be something you want. They're not real expensive. I'll drop a link. You know how it is on Amazon or whatever. The price is always changing. They're pretty inexpensive, and you can pick one of those up, drop it in your car, charge it every 3 months, give you a little bit of peace of mind. At least that's what I'm all about. Keep it simple, Bob. Keep it simple. All right. So let's go in the office where it's not so muggy and talk about that. All right, so let's get these things out and show you the size difference in them. I really expected there to be a size difference. Now, this is the smaller one. This is the 2000. There's the 2000. You can look at the physical size of it compared to a hand there. Let's get the bigger one out. Packs a little more punch. So again, I was expecting there to be this size difference. Look at this. I was inflating a big air mattress the other day. So again, I was expecting there to be a size difference in this, right? But there isn't. It's just a color difference. Look at that. Exactly the same size. You got the 3400 amp and we got the 2000 amp. So they're the exact same size. So space is not an issue. So for me, when I look at it, when I went back and I said, I'm going to do this, then I'm just going to order 3400s for everybody when I start buying stuff for the family. This is for me. I like getting stuff like this for my kids. I have them put it in their cars. And it just gives them a little bit of peace of mind. But let's talk about the specs. I'll drop some videos off the channel. I'll drop some links and all that jazz. So what does it come with? Obviously, it comes with your jumper cables right here. Little extension with the typical valve, for tire, car tire, wheelchair tire. Coach Vic, she uses the smaller one for her wheelchair constantly. Wheelchair tires leak. I don't know why they leak, but they do. They leak a lot. It comes with 4 little attachments, your typical nozzles for putting stuff in like air mattresses and stuff. Of course, needle for a ball. And then, this is for the smaller valve that's on like a racing bicycle tire. Some wheelchair tires, there are 2 valves. There's the Presta and the Schrader. I get it confused which one's which. But the Presta and the Schrader with this attachment and what comes on it, you can pump up any kind of tire. I put these in a little Ziploc bag and keep them in here. So what else comes with it? Your charging cable, little wall wart charging cable kind of thing. There you go, just like that. Everything you need. And a carrying case, which, you toss in your car and you forget it's there. Also, got the 12-volt charger right here. So let's talk a little bit about it. The weight. Now, I did not grab a scale and weigh these two. I will tell you the 3400 is heavier. Physically, it's not larger, but it is heavier. The air compressor does work great as expected. I didn't expect it to not work great because the air compressor works great on the other. Now, of the things that get used on this, I'm going to tell you the things that get used on this the most. The phone charger. Coach Vic, she loves her phone. She would deny that, and that's okay. But Coach Vic loves her phone. And so what she does is she uses it a lot, and she'll be out in the yard. And so she'll have one of these out there and boom, plug it in. So you have 2 USB ports. They're the typical 5-volt USB ports for charging. Now, one of them, my son explained amperage to me, but I'm not going to explain it to you because I'm not sure I understood what he said. However, I know that the 2.1 amp is for fast charging your phone, and it does work. I actually plugged in 2 iPhones, one in the, what is it? Can't see because I'm an old man. One is a 1 amp and the other is a 2.1 amp. And it is a visible difference when you watch that percentage of that battery close up on that phone. Does make a big difference. So the amperage does make a difference. So you got those. So you have the LED lights on this. They're like the LED lights that you would expect on anything that you're going to be on the side of the road. I'm going to kind of shine them down because they are super bright. 100 lumens is what they are. And then, of course, you just double tap the button and that'll change the modes. So you have your strobe lights and then hold it down again to turn the lights off. That's all there is to it. Now, this right here is the compressor. You see you've got your little light, your LED readout. It's typical loud little compressor. Let's talk about the functionality of the compressor, and then we'll go back to the battery jump pack, and you'll have a firm picture of what this thing is and whether you need to go out and get you one. That's up to you, baby. So obviously all little compressors generate a certain amount of heat, right? You know, this one, these do get hot. The air comes out of that thing pretty hot if you're running it for a while. It has an auto protection that it'll shut off if it gets too hot. I've not had it cut off yet. And man, we inflated a queen size air mattress, and I mean, it was hot. The air was coming out hot by the time we got that thing filled up, but it filled it up. I was really surprised. I didn't expect it to, but we were laughing. It's like, you hold it for a while. No, now you hold it for a while because it was warm. All right, so you can set it to bars. You can set it to PSI, as you can see right there. You set it by pressing this up-down button to the number that you want it to be. 30 PSI, 40 PSI, 50 PSI. For Coach Vic's wheelchair, it'd be 60 PSI. Plug the valve in, you flip it on. When it gets to that number, it cuts off. That's it. It's super, super simple, which is important to me because my daughters aren't mechanically inclined. They need to have something they can just put their hands on. Hey, I know how to put air in my tire. You know, I know how to jump start my car without blowing it up, that sort of stuff. Those are the things that are important to me as a dad. So let's talk about jump starting a car because that's what most people, I think, really concern themselves with. First thing, you need to check the power. Needs to be at least at 50. Getting a lot of messages this morning. The first thing you got to do is make sure it's at least at 50% power. They recommend you bringing this thing in every 3 months and charging it, you know, even just to make sure it's charged. You want to fully charge it before you use it the first time. It's sitting at 100%. It's been in my truck for at least 2 months. So I've had it a while. Like I said, I've been looking for dead batteries. All right, the next thing you're going to do is simply plug the cables in. The cable will only go in one way. It's, you know, it has like a square peg and a round peg kind of thing. Plug it all the way in till it seats. At this point, all you do, hook up the positive, hook up the ground. If you don't do it wrong, you won't get any alarms, and you crank the car. That's it. And after you do that, the power screen, everything will shut itself off between 2.5 minutes has been my experience with it. And that's how it works. It's pretty darn simple. In fact, it's really simple. It's what I call, and you've heard me say this is the Barney Rubble stuff. If you can read a pamphlet, if you can pick up a 3-pound weight, then you can use this. And then as far as charging, again, you simply plug the wall wart in. There's your charging port right there. Plug it in the wall, charge it. Like I said, this thing's sitting at 100%. There it is. So let's talk about the display because that was something that kind of confused me, and I think I mentioned this on the other JF.EGWO product that I had reviewed. This does not go 100%, 99, 98, 97, 96. So it's going to show it 100% until it drops below 75 or 75 or below. Then the display will show 75%. And then when it goes 50 or below, it will show 50%. And when it hits 25%, it's going to start flashing. You need to get that thing on a charger because it's not going to be any use to you at that point. You know, they give you all the warnings, the Barney Rubble warnings, the things that you should know. I would suggest you read them, although if you need to read them, be nice, Bob. You know, things like don't touch the cables to one to another. Don't be charging your phone while you're trying to use it as a jump pack. Don't have it plugged into the cigarette lighter of your car trying to charge this while jumping the car off. Things like crazy things that I can't even imagine that someone would sit down and even write this down. So that's it. That's all there is to it. It is very simple to use. It's a nice product. Heavy duty plastic. I keep it in my truck. It's been in the rain. It's been in the hot. Now that's one of the things it talks about. It said don't store it in a place that's 140 degrees or hotter or negative 40. Wintertime here in Tallahassee, I'm not going to get over 140. How hot does the inside of my truck get? It gets hot. It hasn't been a problem. Now, could it present a problem? The battery life indicates that it hasn't been a problem. I have not seen any swelling or disfigurement or anything like that. But this thing stays in my truck, in the cab of my truck, and it gets blue blazing hot in there. You have to make your decision on where you're going to store that stuff, how you're going to store it, because it is a lithium battery, and lithium batteries can get unstable in extreme temperatures. There again, for that and a quarter, you can get a bad cup of coffee. I don't think you can get a bad cup of coffee for a quarter anymore. The JF.EGWO 2000 amp and the JF.EGWO 3400 amp. And yes, there's more. No, there's not more. That's it. I like mine. I've had mine a long time. I've had the other one, the smaller one, for 8 months, 9 months, maybe even a year at this point. And the other one I've had several months just working with it, looking for trouble, looking to jump something big off. Like I said, it's taking care of a van. It's taking care of smaller cars. Haven't had a need with my truck yet, but my truck's a V6, so I have no reason to not believe that it won't work on my truck, just like it did on the van. All right, so there you have it. Another one in the books. JF.EGWO compressor jump start pack phone charger. 2 thumbs up from me. So do me a favor till next time. Yes, you go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you are doing it wrong. Now, you go seize the day, and I'll see you on the road real